Hey guys, Zane here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the lore of Mondstadt. This is one video in a series I'm producing, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to watch the coming parts as they're uploaded. Without further ado, let's get into it. Mondstadt wasn't always the city of freedom. In fact, it was once ruled over by a misunderstood god named Decabarian. He was a ruler who ruled not by the people's favor, but by trapping his own people. It's important to note that Mondstadt at the time was not a land of lush greenery like it is now, but a frozen wasteland that was nearly inhospitable to all, thanks to the actions of a rival god, Lupus Borealis. The only reason Mondstadt survived was because of Decabarian, who formed a barrier of wind around the city. It kept the cold and rival gods out, but it also served to keep his people trapped inside. One day, though, roughly 3,000 years ago, Lupus Borealis, the dominator of wolves, attempted to challenge the Tyrant for his throne, but was repelled by the barrier. At the same time, a group of people within Mondstadt, known as the Gunhildr clan, used the commotion to escape the city. Although they made it out safely, nothing could have prepared them for the cold of the outside world, and they nearly perished before a wind spirit came to their aid and provided them with shelter and the means to protect themselves, an ability that would be given to the clan chieftain's daughter and passed down through the bloodline. This clan will come back later, but let's keep them on the back burner for now as we go back to the situation in Mondstadt. Decarabian was not intentionally malicious towards his people. He didn't hate them or wish them any ill will. He was simply disconnected from what they wanted. This was both represented physically, as he never left his massive stone tower, but also through his actions. He loved the people of Mondstadt more than anything, and thought they loved him too, but they simply loved the protection he provided from the bitter cold, viewing the figure himself as a tyrant. His version of love was keeping the people safe, nothing more and nothing less. What the Decabarian didn't realize was that he was holding his people hostage. They wanted to see the world, to adventure and be free. What he thought were walls of protection were simply the walls of oppression. His rudimentary understanding of love didn't stop him from taking on a mortal lover known as Amos, although in the end it wasn't meant to be. Amos loved him in the way we understand, but Decabarian didn't feel the same, and the pair slowly grew apart. Around this time, a young boy grew to prominence, inspiring people to stand up and rise against their imprisonment, to fight to be free, playing his lyre for anyone who would listen. It is said that he was the first bard, and he riled the people up alongside his companion, a simple wind spirit given form. Do you remember the nameless wind spirit who saved the Gunhildr clan we discussed earlier? That wind spirit's name was Barbatos, and by saving those people, he had begun a new faith, a faith in himself that allowed him to take on a physical form as a small wisp of energy, who met the nameless bard and formed a kinship with him. In time, the duo would stage a revolution, and Barbatos called on the Gunhildr clan to assist him in retaking their homeland. Decarabian's lover, Amos, joined in on the revolution, and the trio, accompanied by a nameless knight, ascended Decabarian's tower for the final confrontation. The battle was brutal, and by the end, both the nameless bard and Decarabian lay lying in the rubble. Barbatos mourned his fallen friend, calling upon the power that Decarabian gave up in his death to take on the form of his dead companion. This is the birth of the being we know as Venti, although that name would not be used for some time. Great Wolf Lupus Borealis noticed the happenings, but he was old now, and he couldn't care for the people of Mondstadt like Barbatos could. So, he relinquished his claim to the title of Animo Archon, letting Barbatos claim the throne from the fallen king instead. Barbatos, realizing the people could not live in the bitter cold without the protection of the barrier, went to the old wolf and asked him to end his eternal winter. The wolf complied, and Barbatos reshaped the land into how we know it today, allowing greenery into the once pale wasteland. This is when Barbatos was at the height of his power, and he used it to raise the peninsula where the new Mondstadt was built. The Mondstadt of old is nothing more than ruins now, and most simply know it as Stormterror's lair, the history of the place long forgotten. The people of Mondstadt rejoiced at the freedom their new god granted them, and began worshipping him devoutly. Although Barbatos was happy to see them free, he didn't want to see himself become like Decarabian, and so, after claiming the divine seed of Animo Archon in Celestia, he wished his new people goodbye and told them to live freely. Where he went is anyone's guess, but it's known he frequently paid trips to go visit Morax, the Geo-Archon, who we know today as Zhongli. That's all I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye-bye, y'all. Have a good one.